Yasha is a premium ready-to-wear label that spells opulence in its telltale surfaces, and we use a lot of Indian crafts and techniques. The label offers sustainable, timeless luxury to those who resonate with its tribe. One of my favorite phrases all along this journey has been that no one is you, and that is indeed your power. So for us, the biggest challenge was to find that uniqueness, that sort of language, that signature that our brand needed to have, which we felt, which we sort of knew in our minds, and we had the vision, but probably it wasn't really coming, coming through very, very clearly. So there was a very, very clear difference, between the before and after, as far as the strategies, as far as the whole clarity was concerned for us to do with our brand. And CLLB, now CCBP, really helped, at least it really helped me sort of introspect, go deep and understand what is that I was trying to do with my brand, what is the kind of positioning that I was trying to aim, what is the kind of distribution that I was planning to have, and what would be the right or the ideal way to go about it. And largely what it helps you do is sort your own thoughts out and go ahead and sort of nail it. And for us, it's really been a huge success in terms of being able to do what we wanted to do for so many years, which had been sort of a hurdle. And I enrolled in the 2017 program, and within a couple of months, we were in a position to, position ourselves in 6 or 7 leading multi-designer stores across the country. We are already in the process of production for a lot of these stores. You could say 1 or 2 in each important tier 1 city or metropolitan city at the moment. I grew up in Bihar, in Patna, and I grew up around a lot of art and craft. And I felt this really innate attachment to an earthy color palette and a lot of textural quality on textiles. And we come from a culture where there's a lot of pictorial depiction of emotions, Madhubani paintings, or for that matter the art of Sujani. And for me, somewhere in my vocabulary of textile design, that sort of expression becomes extremely important. And for many years, it was in my mind to come up with a brand which can sort of take this rural, technique, or this rural expression into a more global, format, or onto a more global platform. So the whole idea of the brand was to come up with sustainable luxury and handcrafted luxury for those who could resonate with its tribe. And we take a lot of time. We take a lot of time in ideating and conceptualizing, in manufacturing, and because the processes are really long drawn, but we believe in it. We believe that it's more timeless. It's definitely more sustainable, and that makes it that much more challenging to be able to come up with a commercially viable range and to be able to position it with the right kind of margins, the right kind of price points. And that is where we basically needed IIM's intervention and training, and it has really paid off in every possible way. In the last 8 years, as far as the costuming business is concerned, my studio is called the NY Studio. We've made quite a mark internationally, to be honest. We have been able to export to China, to UK, to the US, and we've contributed in terms of as costume designers to quite a few high-scale products across India as well. But when it came to the brand, the whole understanding of the market dynamics was extremely important, and having been away from that segment for quite some time, the challenge became that much harder. Largely because the moment I moved from Delhi to Bombay, the network was completely changed, and things changed. And to be in a mainstream media business, it was different from being in the mainstream fashion business. And of course, the grip was sort of loosened. But the dream didn't change, and we really wanted to sort of do it the way we had dreamt about it right in the beginning. And hence, after a couple of years of trying to grapple with the situation and not being able to network and distribute the way we wanted to, CLLB happened, and I keep calling it CCBP because it's now CCBP. And it was an extremely insightful experience in terms of critical thinking, in terms of, like I earlier said, introspecting and trying to channelize what we should have come up with in all those years in terms of a strategy to be able to sail this through. And it's really paying off at the moment. So what particularly happened is that once I enrolled for CLLB, and once I was done with the program, we actually went back to the drawing board, and keeping the core strengths of the product, we sort of completely realigned and redesigned every other strategy to do with how much embroidery we were using, what kind of materials were we using. We kept the colors, the aesthetics, the techniques intact, but we completely reworked the product, because somewhere our product was becoming way too expensive to be able to nail the kind of market presence that we were aiming at. A lot of these small things, which once you are in the program, you realize are really obvious things to sort of notice. But if you haven't had any sort of management training before, it's not something which will come very naturally to everybody. And for us, for me particularly, it became a life-changing journey, especially because of the kind of difference that it has shown, and the kind of effect that it is showing in my business already, just with this whole critical thinking approach and with this whole introspection approach. There's a lot of story that each garment actually tells if you look closely. There is this element of discovery. When you pick up the garment, there is a lot of talking that it does with you, in terms of its textural quality, in terms of its hand feel, in terms of its right from the yarn stage, from how the textile has been made to what has been done to the textile, and what kind of cuts and silhouettes that we have thought with the textile. What is it that we're trying to tell you through the garment? Usually our surfaces are quite elaborate, and even when they're not elaborate, they're quite intense, even in the small parts of the garment. If we have some sort of textural or surface detailing, they're quite intense, even if they're not very elaborate, like I said. So there's a lot of communication that we try to do through our garments. There's a lot of talking that we try to do through our garments. And for somebody who can pick up these elements, for somebody who can pick up these stories that we're trying to tell, it becomes a very interactive relationship, and very interactive experience, and which is what we're trying to encourage, and which is exactly what we're trying to reach out to the markets with. And for us, like I said, the struggle was always to break through the market with the right sort of price points, because our product was so special. That was a very difficult thing to crack. For the last couple of years, I had been wondering how to sort of position my brand better and strategize better when it came to the go-to market plan. And it was actually my brother who said that I should look at this program. And when I did, I wasn't quite sure that I'd be able to manage it with an ongoing business, and how terribly I actually was caught up in the rut of running a full-time business. But the timing was also one of the biggest bonuses, and it sort of helped. It was very doable to. I wouldn't say the program was easy by any means, but it was definitely doable to sort of align time and be able to manage both. And it's been the greatest decision that I possibly taken in the recent times, as far as my business acumen is concerned.